Here's 5 hypnosis hacks that will make you successful in any area of life. And number 1 is when you're going into hypnosis, what intention are you doing it with? Okay. Now, most people, when they go into hypnosis, they think, what's wrong with me? Right. Or they think, I'm broken. I need to be fixed. So we don't want to go into hypnosis or any healing modality thinking, I'm wrong, I'm broken, I need to be healed. What we actually want to go into the intention with is, how can I be my best? Right. So again, you can go into hypnosis thinking, I need to heal my past traumas, and that will happen. And you may go into it thinking, I'm broken. Why does this really happen to me? I need to be fixed. But if you do that, you're going to constantly always look for what's wrong with you. So rather than looking at what's wrong with me as you're going into the hypnosis, think, I'm doing this hypnosis session, I'm doing this healing session, I'm doing this meditation so that I can be at my best, not to fix something that's wrong with me. Okay, hit the like button if that makes sense so far. Okay, number 2 is to ask better questions. Okay. The quality of the questions we ask ourselves will dictate the quality of our lives. So if you're going through a struggle, a challenge, an obstacle in your life, and you say to yourself, why can't I do this? Or why does this always happen to me? Well, our brain is a computer. And if you ask the computer a question, it's going to spit out an answer. Now, most of the time when you ask disempowering questions, you're going to get also a disempowering answer. So when we switch to, again, why can't I, or why does this always happen to me? You ask yourself, how can I, right? How can I improve? How can I get better? How can I overcome these challenges and these obstacles? And so when you're under hypnosis and you're contemplating, you're in that meditative state, ask yourself the empowering question that's going to move you towards where you want to go rather than the disempowering question keeping you stuck in your stuff. Okay. Number 3 is when you're in hypnosis, is to focus on what you want. Now, this is similar to number 2. However, it goes a little bit deeper. So, often when people are stuck in a challenge and they come to me and they say, Dom, I say, well, what do you want? They say, man, I don't want to work so hard in my business anymore. Right. I don't want to have to put in 10, 12-hour days. Yeah, I'm making money, but at the same time, I'm running myself thin. I say, okay, well, what is it you want? Well, I just don't want to be so overwhelmed and so stressed out. And I ask them, okay, what is it that you want? You see, anytime somebody says, I don't blank, they're telling you what they don't want. And the challenge with always focusing on what we don't want is we will get exactly what we don't want. Our reticular activating system in our brain will search out in our environment to find the things that are matching with the thoughts in our head. So we're constantly thinking, I don't want to be overwhelmed. We're thinking about the overwhelm. Now, here's a very powerful way that you could shift your focus from what you don't want into what you want. Okay. And that's simply asking yourself this. Actually, I'll put a little bullet point so you can see it here. Okay. You ask yourself, if I'm not blank, what am I? Matter of fact, do me a favor, guys. Somebody write that in the comments. If you see it in the comments already, write it there as well. So you can come back and look at this. This is such a powerful question. Just learning this one question alone and memorizing this and using it in your everyday life, using it with your clients will create massive transformation. So again, the example, somebody says, I don't want to be overwhelmed. I say, well, what do you want? I don't want to be stressed. I say, okay, if you're not overwhelmed, what are you? If you're not stressed, what are you? And this could work in any facet. If somebody's like, I don't want to be anxious. If you're not anxious, what are you? I don't want to be overweight. If you're not overweight, what are you? I don't want to be alone. Okay, if you're not alone, what are you? And see, by asking them that question, you get them to shift their focus to what they want. So again, if I said a client's like, yeah, I'm making all this money, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm working so hard. I don't have any time off. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I want to be trapped in my business. Okay, if you're not trapped in your business, what are you? Well, I have freedom to do what I love. I'll have freedom to do my hobbies, to travel the world. I'll have people in positions to delegate to run my business for me. right? So again, now we start to focus on what that person wants, and we hold on to those thoughts long enough, especially in meditation and in hypnosis, we will start to create this in our reality. Okay. This is the same reason why when you go out to buy, you buy a new car, suddenly you start seeing that car everywhere. The car was always there. It's just that you weren't focused on it because you weren't an owner of that car. As soon as you bought the car, you see it everywhere. So it's the same thing here. There's ways that you can create freedom, that you can do all these things that you want. You just have to shift your focus and buy into that, just like you bought into your car, and then you'll start to see it absolutely everywhere. Okay. Number 4, when you're doing hypnosis, is to shift your perspective. Okay. Now, I love doing this. You're going to love it as well. So check this out. I want you to notice where you're at right now. And instead of seeing it through your lens and how you see the world, I want you to just pause and see where you're at right now through the lens of a real estate agent that may be trying to sell where the home or the place, whatever you're at. Okay. If you're in your car, look into your car as somebody that's trying to sell your car. Okay. Now, notice when you do that, your perspective suddenly shifts. You either go, wow, this is how I do it, or man, we really got to clean this up, or whatever. Now, go a little bit further. I want you to see where you're at through the lens of somebody that is a single mother or a single father. So, see where you're at through the lens of a single parent. See the lens of where you're at through the lens of a single parent with an infant. Notice how things start to shift, right? If you're in a car and you're in like a, a Corvette, suddenly you go, oh man, if I saw this through the eyes of a mother with an infant, I would even drive this car, right? Now, I say that because when you're in hypnosis, you can actually shift your perspective into who you want to become, the identity you want to have. So let's say you want to make a bunch of money. Again, right now, shift your perspective, pretend right now that you're somebody who's a multimillionaire, and notice how your lens shifts. Notice how you go, man, I would definitely get a new car, or I would not be happy with where I live. Like I'd go out and buy something amazing, right? Or I'm not happy with my life, like the way it is. So here's the thing. You can shift your perspective into anyone and who you want to be. So if you want to be in great shape, you go, okay, I'll shift my perspective into somebody that works out 5 days a week and eats really, really healthy. And suddenly you'll start to see everything differently. Again, not only will you see yourself, you'll start to act differently and adopt the characteristics of the identity of somebody that you shift your perspective into. So when you're in hypnosis, tell yourself, just like I just did right now, shift your perspective into your favorite athlete, right? Shift your perspective into somebody you just truly admire. Shift your perspective into your spouse right now and see the world through their lens. And all of a sudden, the thoughts, the ideas, the behaviors start to come in, and then we start acting on them. Okay. So again, shift your perspective into somebody who has unlimited potential, somebody who has total confidence, somebody that knows they can go out and achieve whatever they want to achieve in their lives. And you will start to see a massive shift in your life. And last but not least, number 5 is constant repetition carries conviction. Okay. What's conviction? Conviction means we're convinced. We're sold on it, right? We believe in it. So if you're constantly using the repetition of what we're talking about, you're asking yourself when you go into healing work or hypnosis, you're not saying, what's wrong with me? You're saying, hey, I'm doing this so I could be at my best, right? So I'm doing this self-hypnosis process because I want to be at my absolute potential, right? My highest potential. Then you start asking yourself better questions. So instead of why can't I, it's how can I, right? Instead of why does this always happen to me? You think, what do I have to be grateful for right now? So asking yourself those questions to shift your perspective into going towards what you want. Okay. Then number 3, focusing on what you want. So again, if you want to have massive success, you have to stop focusing on the fact that you're in debt or that you're only making 10 grand a month or that you're stuck wherever. And you've got to focus. Again, ask yourself if you don't even know what that is, you're like, I don't even know what the opposite of being depressed is. Okay. If you're not depressed, what are you? I'm happy. So you start to shift your focus on what you want. and then shift your perspective. See your world through the lens of the person that you want to become, of the identity of the person that you aspire to be. And when you shift your perspective, you do all these tools. And then last but not least, you consistently do this, you will start to see massive, massive shifts in your reality. And when you're really bought into this, not only will you see massive shifts in your reality, you will start to see them very, very quickly. Okay, guys? So good. Look, if you want to speed up this process, here's the thing. If I wanted to, work on my car, I could go watch YouTube videos and I could read books on how to work on my car. By the time I figure it out, I could have already paid somebody to do it. And not only would I pay them to do it, they're going to do it fast. They're going to do it correctly. So my car doesn't blow up. Okay. So if you're somebody who wants fast results, you're a business owner, sales professional, you're self-employed and you want to speed up your results, there's going to be a link down in the description for you to book a free assessment with one of my certified hypnotherapists to see if you and I are good fit to work together. And then also, if you enjoy learning stuff like this, you're like, oh my God, just this little thing shifted my perspective. And you want to learn how to really do hypnosis on a deep level on yourself so you can go out and create success in every area of life, or you want to learn how you can do it with other people, there's actually a free hypnosis training down in the description of this video where I'm going to actually teach you a little bit more of the ins and outs of what hypnosis is, what hypnosis is not, and how you can actually start to use it in your everyday life on yourself and others starting right now. So again, click down below, book your free assessment, get access to the free training. We'll see you guys in the next video.